Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, LarryWBrooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, please reach out to me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this Thursday, man. And I want to thank everyone in the audience for tuning in, man. We have a really exciting show set up for you all today, man. This is our small business owner, entrepreneur extravaganza. Today, we're going to have one of the foremost insurance business consulting experts, financial consultants anywhere in the sphere here within the Prime Real Estate Network on to talk to us about all the things that we can do to protect ourselves financially now and into the future. Big, huge shout out to the Texas Real Estate King, LarryWBrooks. He's away on assignment this week, but we have a very talented and highly respected co-host sitting in for the Texas Real Estate King this week, man. And I want to take some time to introduce him. Those who watch the Prime Real Estate Network podcast are familiar with this week's co-host, but for those who are not, I would like to introduce one of the most respected business funding experts, entrepreneurs, or educators anywhere here in the city of Houston and anywhere here within the Prime Real Estate Network. I want to thank him so much for co-hosting and sitting in with me this week, and I'd like to thank publicly and introduce Coach Jean Austin. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Pleasure to be here for sure.
Hey, man, thank you so much, man. Big, huge. I tell you, I know how it is on Thursdays, man. And everyone, especially within the entrepreneurial and business owning sphere, always are so busy on Thursdays, man. But this is something that we've had planned for a while. I'm so excited to have you lend your expertise and some of your experience today's interview. So thank you so much, Coach. But first things first for our audience, please let us know what's been going on in your life and what's been going on lately in the world of Austin business strategies.
You know, we pivoted hard into this year. You know, we saw this recession coming. We were really in the teeth of it. And now the Bank Ready brand is a registered trademark brand as of last year, you know, so shout out to the legal team for getting that done. And Austin Business Strategies owns that brand, and that Bank Ready brand is an accelerator program as we speak. So now what you've seen Bank Ready do, now we're actually working with the Port of Houston, working for Prairie View A&M, with their small business development centers and teaching publicly what we've been doing, in a sense, behind the scenes on social. Now that we're out and about, now we're really able to help these entrepreneurs and small business owners take it to another level. So I'm excited what's going on.
You know, I want to thank you so much because I just harken back to our initial interview when we first had the opportunity to talk to you about Austin Business Strategies and how the Bank Ready movement was founded and what it is that it provides to the community. just quickly, could you just talk to our audience about the need for the bank ready movement and how many entrepreneurs you see in the Houston area that don't know about the paperwork, some of the things that they have to do, some of the memberships that they have to take their business to that next level?
The paperwork, the credentials, that black and white, man, is the key to the success that we have. We're in Houston, right? So City of Houston, Harris County, Fort Bend County, Metro, TxDOT, NASA, all of those important agencies and companies and industries that we're in, you have to be credentialed properly to work with them. And that Bank Ready Accelerator program gets you ready for that. We have 4 pillars. The planning and the strategy, so important. You want to be able to articulate that brand properly. The credentials are important to do business with the City of Houston, the different counties that are around. You have to be certified and credentialed to do business with them. Going to be going to the Port of Houston later today. You've got to be credentialed properly to be in position to win those business opportunities. And the Bank Ready brand does that for you. We have staff. It's not just me. Got a staff of folks, and they take care of that paperwork for you so you can maintain the focus and vision on your company. We take care of that back end, walk you through it, make you understand how powerful those certifications and credentials are. So Bank Ready, I've run across a lot of people that don't even know it exists, for one. And then when they see it, like, that paperwork is kind of tough. Like, don't worry about it. We can cover you there. And in any state, not just Houston, but specifically here in Houston, man, the economy is on a boom, even in the midst of a recession. But that data being registered properly is a key to success, man. So can't wait for everybody to get in position and be bank ready and take this thing to the level that they truly desire.
And this is for all the members of our audience who are sitting here with us right now thinking to themselves, I recognize that voice, but I don't know where I know this gentleman from. So could you just talk about all of the work that you've done on Clubhouse and how educating the consumers in the market on Clubhouse has helped to not only build your brand, but to educate and help people take their businesses to the next level? Because I'm sure there's people who've heard you on Clubhouse who's like, oh, now I know where that voice comes from.
It's funny, man. I have people walk up to me now. I'll be talking somewhere. Yes. Wait, Coach, is that you? I heard you. I heard you. Like, is my voice that distinctive? That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's Clubhouse. And shout out to my mentor, man. She called me one day. I was watching the LSU football game, and I never get off the show for watching the game for nothing. She's like, go get an iPhone. I need you to hop on Clubhouse. I didn't question it. Well, I did for a little minute. But getting on Clubhouse, man, and just doing what we've been doing at that point in time for almost 15 years. And it allowed us to teach when we couldn't get out, when the lockdowns were on. And Clubhouse was a game changer for us to take that message and teach and really show the entrepreneurs doing the PPP programs and all that kind of thing where to properly go. And I get a lot of testimonials back, man, thank you so much for giving me that, because I didn't know where to go. Clubhouse was a game changer, and now we're taking it off Clubhouse to the LinkedIn formats, to this format and others. So I'm not the marketer, so I'm blessed to be in your presence and with the Prime Real Estate Network to get the message out there. And I'm so glad Clubhouse has allowed us to really platform and pivot at that time.
No, because what you're doing is invaluable work. It's helping people set up nest eggs and foundational pieces that will benefit them and their families for generations. So big, huge shout out to everybody at Austin Business Strategies. Big, huge shout out to everyone at the team. And we're really excited at the Prime Real Estate Network to start partnering with you all. So, man, like I said, when we first came on, Coach, man, you're the perfect co-host for this week's interview. I want to take some time to interview this week's guest, man, because he has so many tidbits and profound information and game to share with the audience. So without any further ado, this fine gentleman is not only one of the foremost insurance experts, but he's also a multi-time author, and he's also a serial entrepreneur. I want to thank him so much for sitting in with us, and I'd like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, Mr. Ryan Akers.
Hey. What's going on, everybody?
How you doing, Ryan, man? Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.
I'm blessed. How about you guys?
No, look, man, it's an honor and a pleasure, man. First things first, I want to give you an opportunity for those that follow you on social media, for those that may have read some of your previous published books, those that may follow you on Facebook. Just introduce yourself to our audience, give them an idea of what it is that you guys offer at your company and what it is that motivated you to build your platform.
All right. Hey, Everybody, I'm Ryan Akers. I am VP of Business Development and Commercialization for AYG Insurance and Financial Services. We are a Black-owned, female-owned, Black-owned business. We're based out of Vegas, but we have reach all over the United States. And one of the things that I found to be profound in the insurance and financial services field as a whole is that a lot of our people are not really aware of the different type of products and the things that are out there to, I'm going to use the word legacy, help build legacy, right? Or we think that only a certain group of people are able to, reach or establish a certain level or have a certain type of security. And it's just not so. So I was blessed to be in the insurance game for almost 10 years with just this company. Previously, I was with another company, and I felt the opportunity was given to me by one of my mentors, now laid to rest, but a good brother, Mr. Dominic Moore, and really kind of gave me the root in the game about financial services and what it can do for us as a whole. And so I'm just kind of taking his legacy and the foundation that he laid down to further push this agenda. One of the things I've been able to do along the way, as you stated, was write a couple of books. So I have.
Don't be so modest. Don't be so modest, Ryan. Man, I had a chance to check you out. Man, your books are great.
I appreciate it. Yes, I'm a published author. I think I have 9 works right now. I have more, but I haven't finished all of them. But I have 9 works right now, mostly geared towards the entrepreneurial spirit and the mindset that you need to have in order to, become an entrepreneur. Not just become it, because really that's just a matter of signing a piece of paper and saying that you got a business, right? Mm-hmm. But stay in the path, good, the bad, the ugly. And fortunately, but unfortunately, I have experienced all of that. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So when I'm speaking, I'm definitely speaking from experience, and I'm a genuine person. So I think that's the thing that resonates the most, and that's the thing that I want to get across to people anyway. Like, anybody can do it. You don't have to have a certain background. Your family doesn't have to have a certain, money pit of financial security in order to do this. My parents were blue collar workers. And ex-military father, well, retired military, I'm gonna say retired because he served his country well. 24 years, lieutenant commander, right?
Hey, we got to clean that up, man. He's checking us out.
I ain't gonna body slam here and there later. So yeah, but my pops did really well for himself, and my mom, who was an AK, shout out to all the AKs out there. Right. She did really well for herself as well. But they were workers, and one of the things that I tell my own daughter, who is almost 20 now, about is like the power of being an entrepreneur. It's not that I saw, in my own home what an entrepreneur was. It was the ability and the things that I saw people that were entrepreneurs having the time, having the money, taking trips, investing in real estate, just things that I saw that I was like, I want to be able to do that for my family, for my kids, for wife, whatever, right? Just going down the line. When I leave this planet, I want to be able to leave my family in a better position than when I got here. And so that's kind of what propelled me rather into that position.
I appreciate your transparency and your candor, because one of the most fulfilling parts about building this type of platform is that it was done under the spirit of collaboration, partnership, and team building. And Coach Austin and I were talking offline about some of the most important considerations as an entrepreneur and business owner that we need to consider when forming partnerships and collaboration. So, Coach, could you just speak towards that conversation that we had offline and interact and ask Coach Ryan Akers what it is that you were interested in knowing from that specific perspective?
Yeah, no doubt. So, Ryan, one of the things that I, as a business strategist, been at this 17 years now, which is wild to even think about it.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, that ain't easy. Congrats.
No, it's not. Trust me. But and to that point, though, right? The foundation of how we structure things, and you are a very integral, important, foundational piece that accountant, that legal, that financial consultant. And on social, there's a lot of gimmicky terms that get thrown around, and the trust and this, that, and the third, and it's very kind of blanketed. And I know a lot of this advice needs to be targeted to everyone's individual need. Yeah. One particular policy, if I were to call it that I don't hear talked about, but when I'm speaking with my physician clients and engineering clients and realtors, developers, there's one policy that doesn't get discussed that affects your bottom line, your net worth, your protection. If someone were to pass, affect the spouse. And can you speak to that key man, key person policy that every entrepreneur, no matter how many millions you make out the gate, that the protection affecting the bottom line, net worth, et cetera. Can you speak on that? And is that something that you offer that you can educate the general populace about, and why and how important that is?
Definitely. So, Coach, first of all, thank you for that segue. And I think I want to lead with saying that insurance as a whole for an entrepreneur is probably the most important thing you can do after setting up your business. And especially when you know what business or field, like you said, you just named a plethora of different fields, right? When you know what you're trying to do with your business, it needs to be insured. We insure our cell phones, right? My iPhone had insurance before I left the store, okay? We insure our cars. We insure everything else. Your dog. If you got, if you're an animal lover, your dog is insured, right? But what we don't think about insurance is the thing that we want to make us money, and that's our business, right? So a key man policy or a key person policy, it is something that we do cover at my company. So after this, if you guys would like any more information, I'm going to give some information so you guys get in contact with me or one of my people at the company. So, but it's very, very important to have. And I'll say why, right? There's a multitude of reasons, but I'll sum it up like this. If something were to ever happen to you and you are the most important person on that job, would the job close? Would your company be able to run? Or what if there was somebody else that was there that was not in your position, but you left them some money enough to be able to go out and hire another you? Now, there's never going to be anybody that can replace you. You are unique in your own situation, in your own right? You are that individual. However, there might be another person. If you are the CEO and you have staff underneath you and something happens to you and you are no longer here, but you have a key person policy, well, that policy could in turn go out, leave the money back, to the business. Now, that money doesn't go to an individual. That money gets put back into the business. And now your board or whomever is in charge at that point can go out and hire another CEO. So they don't have to stop doing what they're doing to go do it. And I'll tailor this back a little bit. If you're a chef and you have a business, but you are the main person, chopping up everything, you know what I mean? You back there making it happen. You're Gordon Ramsay. I mean, what's my man? Not Gordon Ramsay. You're the Iron Chef, right?
Right.
Something happens to you and you're the only person that can make that happen back there. Well, if you have a key person policy, your board or your staff or your, director can then go out there and find another chef of the same caliber and make sure that they have the money to pay that person. So the business won't stop essentially running with that. Most importantly, this policy in particular has been used for a while, at least the last 30 years for sure, for churches. So if you're a pastor, and this is something that most church people are not aware of, but if you aren't, here you go. If you're a pastor of a church, I don't care what size it is, most churches are looking for money. So as you're looking for capital out here, one of the things that they're going to ask you is it insured? Now, they don't mean the actual church, because the property itself, that's fine, right? But if you're the pastor and something happens to you, is your church going to still function on that property? Or will it fall by the wayside? But if you have the ability or have a key person or key man policy, if something does happen to you, again, the board, which is normally on churches, they can go out here and they can hire another person to come in, fill that position, fill that void that's needed, and give them the money, to be able to take care of bills or whatever the case may be while that's happening. So essentially, it's a security blanket for said business to be able to maintain for 2, 3, 4, 5 years after you're gone. To again, I don't want to use the word replace you because we're irreplaceable, right? I feel like I'm irreplaceable, but but for them to come back and be able to run up to par without missing a beat, essentially.
And I have to ask, Ryan, and this question is for you, Ryan, or even you too, Coach Austin. It's always a tragedy anytime someone professionally, personally passes and transitions. But do either of you two gentlemen have any insight or experience with a company that had to experience this type of calamity that did not have insurance protection? And could you just speak to our audience and educate, myself included, on what are some of the trials and tribulations that can be caused if you don't insure the business from this standpoint?
Coach, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I'll give two quick ones, right? Well, we had a scare last year, and those of you who know my story, my wife was on death's door. She has a heart condition, and she coded 4 times last year. She's 51% owner of the businesses for a number of reasons. She's my right hand, and if something happened to her, I had to look at that key person policy, and like that was a hard look, right? And thank God it was there. She's here, heart's doing fine. She's great. But I've had clients who came to me like, Coach, I don't know what would happen, physicians, if I pass or go on that partnership. What will happen to that partnership if something happens to me? Some things have happened to clients where they can't sell the business. And one right now, the lady in the business, right, her husband is on hospice door. They don't have those things in place. So now they have to struggle and fight. And now it becomes a probate situation or a bankruptcy situation. So I've seen a couple of those personally and professionally, and it's heartbreaking when you work that hard for something, and now you have to look at how do we maneuver now when just a simple, I say simple, but a policy in place would help to rectify so much of that, especially when you're looking at that harsh of a situation.
Speaking personally, and I take this to heart. My mentor in this business and big brother to me passed away a couple of years ago in 2021. Upon that happening, we did not have this and we are the insurance company, right?
Right.
We didn't get that set up at the time for him. And what it cost us was hundreds of thousands of dollars to get back out here and to get a lot of the things that are back end that you don't normally think about that make the business run. And when you lose the key person, right, of that business, you realize how much value this person has. And there might be things that they do that you deem like, he got it. You know what I mean? We're not going to worry about that, right? Via relationships, via the partnerships, via whatever that is, they were tied to that person. And so for us, there's beauty in it, but for us, we had to really strap the boots up, so to speak, and kind of get out here and, head down and grind it out and just figure it out. However, had we had that policy in place for him, it would have saved us easily a year in time and hundreds of thousands of dollars, that were spent out of our pockets to try to combat a lot of the things that were lost when he passed. And so for me, it's more personal when we're talking about this type of policy when I'm speaking to business owners. So for all of you that are out there, I'm pleading with you. I don't care if you get a policy through me per se or my company, but get a policy, get a key man policy, especially if you're a business owner, small business owner, big business owner. And obviously there are limits. You can increase, you can go to the millions. You will pay for that, however, but it is available to you. But if you're a small business owner, get you a couple of $100,000 key person policy. You won't regret it.
Mr. Akers, I got to ask you, and like I said, thank you so much for you being so candid and so personal as far as illustrating for us in the audience why, as a business owner, this type of policy is something that should be borderline mandatory, but it's something that everybody should have as a part of their portfolio. I have to ask you this because you've mentioned some of your mentors in business, and you've given them flowers. And I think a lot of times, especially as entrepreneurs and business owners, we don't take the time to reflect on those that have helped pave the way for us. But I must ask for everyone in our audience who's being introduced to you, Mr. Akers, for the first time, what did you do before you became a business owner, entrepreneur? And what was the tipping point or the catalyst that motivated you to take that plunge?
All right. I'm gonna make this short. I was a worker like everybody else. I'm gonna say that, right? I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So I've always done different odd and end things. But I remember my last job, literally I was working for Weatherford, which is an oil-based company here in Houston. And I got the opportunity to learn taxes. Now, for me, taxes have been in my family for 40 years. I had an aunt and uncle in LA, and they had a tax business for as long as I can remember, probably before I was born. Very successful. I mean, they were doing taxes for a lot of big churches out there, a lot of the airlines back when TWA and all those places were existing, right? Yeah, tell them our age right now. Say R, including all of you. But you know, I learned taxes, and I remember I was doing it part time, 2008, 9. Actually, 2008, 2009. I was doing it 1 week, and I remember one day I had people that used to pay cash up front, and I remember one day counting my money when I got home, and what I made that day is what I was making like in 2 weeks at the oil company. So for me, it was a no-brainer. First of all, I didn't even want to be there. I was slaving.
I was ready to go anyway.
Yeah, man, I was 12-hour days.
Right.
I'm doing all the heavy lifting. I'm watching these engineers make way more money than me, but I'm putting together everything. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I remember counting the money, and I told my best friend at the time, I was like, I ain't going back. and it was that simple for me. He thought I was crazy, but I literally meant it. And, you know, I was willing to go through whatever the struggle or, you know, trial or challenges were for that, because I saw the bigger goal. For me, I saw the bigger picture. And I knew that if I was happy with that amount of money in that day, all I had to do for tax season, you know, the rest of tax season anyway, is 3.5 months.
Right.
I'm like, all I got to do is do this, you know, for about a month and a half. And I done made more money, for, you know, for the year. So, sustainability was my thing. So, yeah, you have to learn a lot of different things, but that's where it started. So, man, listen, I did grunt work beforehand, but my thing was never to be just a worker. Even when I was at work, my mentality was always, how much is the owner of this company getting paid? If you can pay me $20 an hour, how much is the owner? I don't want to know about my boss. I don't care about you making, you know, $5 more than me. How much is the owner making? And I looked it up, so I'm not telling you a lie. The owner of Weatherford at the time was making $27 million a year. I was crazy. Like, I got to do something else.
I thank you so much, because the reason why I take great pride in interviewing entrepreneurs and business owners like yourself and asking that particular question is because I personally believe that as we all are on our entrepreneurial journey, we all are constantly evolving. We're constantly getting better through the advent of technology, experience, our expertise. And I think a lot of times when people meet us and interact with us, that journey can be undervalued. When they meet Ryan Akers, they're meeting Ryan Akers today.
Right. And
they have no idea the path that you had to walk to be the man that they are presented at the time that they're presented him. Yeah. So I want to thank you so much, because there are so many people, Ryan, that have worked with you, that have probably been clients or interacted with you through professional organization, even young people that you may have spoken to that didn't have this type of opportunity to talk to you off the clock, per se, and actually dig in and see those commonalities that bind. Because as men, we all mature and evolve. And I can only speak for myself, but I am so different now than I was at 18, 22, and 24. So when I meet gentlemen at that age, right, when they are hungry and they want that information and they want that mentorship, I try to always remember that they don't see me right now as being a former them.
Right,
So
right. You're telling the truth, though.
And I want everyone who's had an opportunity to ever meet you, Ryan, to understand you walked where they walked, no matter how much they may be impressed with your knowledge or expertise. It took time. It took want to develop. And most importantly, to your earlier point, great mentors. So for anyone in our audience, Ryan, that has totally been intrigued with this conversation, love this interview, would want to tap in with you from a mentorship standpoint, someone who may look at being a part of the financial consulting realm is something that they would want to get involved with under your tutelage. Yes. And most importantly, for those business owners like all of us who want to learn more about that key person policy, please share your direct contact info. Let us know how we can stay tapped in with you, because we want to be a part of the movement.
No problem. I appreciate that too. I am on Instagram as Only Ryan Knows Best. I think Instagram and TikTok. I don't really use. I am on Facebook. I'm the only black Ryan Akers. Actually, it's Ryan D. Akers on Facebook. So if you don't see the black face, you got the wrong guy. I can assure you. All right, but on a serious note, for mentorship, for anybody that's actually serious, if they DM me, I will respond on Instagram, or they can go to info or email me at info@ryanknowsbiz.com. That's ryanknowsbiz.com for the mentorship. And I mean, I like doing it. I love doing it, actually. It's not even a like. I love doing it. I love helping and assisting other people become the best versions of themselves. I'm a person that believes in second chances, because I myself have had second chances, third chances, 100 chances. Like, you know what I mean? God has really blessed me and allowed me to still be here through a lot of adversity. Sometimes we self-inflict things, and sometimes we, bad decisions, bad choices. But guess what? I'm a product of all of that, and yet I'm still here. And so, my thing to the people that are out there, young and or old, is don't give up. It's not an easy thing to become an entrepreneur. But what I will challenge you with is it's not an easy thing to stay a worker either.
Look, man, I want to thank you so much, man. If you ever need anything, any events that you're heading up, anything that you're spearheading, please keep us in mind. We would love to be involved, partner, because like I mentioned earlier, this was founded in the spirit of collaboration. Please, Ryan, don't let this be the last time you tap in with us, man, because you got to see with us anytime, bro.
I appreciate that. Oh, real quick, before I go, key person policies, life insurance in general, and a plethora of other things. If you're a business owner and you're looking for this, aygfinancial.com is the website you can go to, or if you would like to reach me directly, it's my first initial last name is R Akers. That's Akers at aygfinancial.com. So R Akers at aygfinancial.com.
Thank you so much, Ryan, man. We look forward to have you again in the future, brother. Hey, look, thank you so much. I know it's Thursday, man. We'll let you get back to the money, brother. Peace.
I appreciate it, Rick. Coach,
thank you.
Brother.
Absolutely. Man, Coach Austin, man, that was a cooker, man. That was a great interview, man. I want to thank you so much, man, because
no problem.
Your added expertise, your experience, and the things that you've seen in this industry was such a great asset on this particular interview, because that key person policy is so underreported, so undervalued, but you don't think about it until you're in one of the most tragic points of our life, and you don't want to be there making those last second decisions and wishing you had did things different in the past. Please, before we finish off this week's episode, could you talk to our audience about what's going on with Austin Business Strategies, anything that you are spearheading or headlining, or what we can look forward to in the world of Coach John Austin and your team over there?
Yeah, man. In particular, February 23rd, we're hosting a certification class. And through to COVID time and through Clubhouse and all of that, we've had some classes, and this is going to be on Zoom, of course. But my staff is coming on to teach. So Siobhan and Suzanne, who actually do the certifications for us, who do all the nonprofit paperwork, they're going to come on and be on the camera, and they're going to teach the people across the board. Okay, look, federal registering with SAM and the different state certs, City of Houston, all of that. They're going to teach. I'll be there too, but they're going to carry the major weight. And I'm doing that for a reason, because I want to be able to show people what a staff looks like and how to implement your staff and empower them to do what they do best, and see how that collaboration, that teamwork internally can work. It is not just Coach Austin here, you know. I want them to take that information, and now we can show you how to do the work with the city, right? How I'm doing this thing with the Port of Houston, with Pure A&M and things of that nature, right? How to do work with those folks, how you can build affordable housing in the city of Houston with the Section 3 certifications and things of that nature. So we're out there now. And one of the major things is now I'm consulting with these companies. And we've got NASA on our radar. An email. I was able to email the small business director for NASA, met them at the Greater Houston Procurement Forum. So every last Tuesday of the month, I definitely tell people, show up at the ION building, follow me on social media. We put that out there. We have an email list that goes out. We've got a news ticker on our website. So definitely visiting thecoachaustin.com will show you where things are happening, and showing up at that Greater Houston Procurement Forum lets you see how great the city of Houston is and all the business that's going on. And I got her direct email. So I said, let me get you with my admin to make sure we set up a meeting. And we want to be that bridge, because that's real what Bank Ready is. We're over here, big business is over there. How do we bring that together? And that's what Bank Ready does. It brings you into that sector where you can do business with these firms.
And you know, I think this is the perfect time to make the announcement to the audience, because there are so many of our past guests, business owners that's checking out this episode are thinking to themselves, man, Rick, you didn't tell us Coach Austin was going to be giving away this type of invaluable game at the end of the episode. But do not fret. Coach Austin has committed to sitting in on the Prime Real Estate Network a lot more often in the near future. You can look forward to seeing Coach Austin co-host with me next week and some time into the future. So for all those people that have those really hard-hitting, relevant questions, send them to me. DM me on Instagram. DM Coach Austin on Instagram, and we'll start touching on some of those most important topics that everyone in our audience is most interested in during his appearances as a co-host. So look, I don't want anybody to feel like this is a one-time thing, man. This is something that we have been so excited about, because we want to take everyone's brand, their business, and their movement to the next level in 2023. Coach Austin, you have any final words for our audience before we sign off this week, sir?
Entrepreneurs, one thing I've been noticing through this last couple of years is that we want to start businesses from scratch. And we hadn't talked about this a whole lot, but y'all know we can acquire an existing business without having to start one from scratch. That failure rate from 0 to 3 years, why don't you look at, and we'll talk about that, acquiring an existing cash flowing profitable business in this recessionary time period. If I can take failure off the table, then what do we look like?
Come on, man. That is it. Look, until next week, everyone, if you need myself, if you need Coach Austin, we're just a text message, email, DM, or a phone call away. Until next week at this same time, please, everyone in the Prime Real Estate Network audience, please be safe and be blessed.
Thank you.